Okay, now I'm finally going to get to the parole paper, or how they set me up for this parole. Now, 6 months before you leave, they're supposed to call you in for parole planning. This is what they call a ducket. Everywhere you got to go, they give you a ducket. If you got to go to the clinic, if you got to go to school, it's in your ducket. So, February 27, 19, they sent me a docket to be at the parole interview and D program, that's D yard, at 9 o'clock. So I get there, and this lady interviews me, and she tells me that what they want me to do and what is my history, so they know how to set up my parole. What programs I might need, what agency I might have to access. Now, they took it off my head. You know, I do this all the time. I tell you when they take something off my head. But I get there, and I meet this woman, and we talk. And as you see, Pearline Jones, my status is open, female, agency president, CCW. But they scratched out my CII number, and they didn't put my FBI number in there. My CII number is Central Intelligence Identity. So that's my CIA number and my FBI number. And you guys know, y'all know me very well by now. Since 2015, I've been putting up these videos that I've never had been booked by the CIA and FBI. But on my paperwork that they have the other numbers that the FBI and CIA number shows, when I was in West Valleys, I asked them what, but I knew what they were, but I wanted them to tell me what these numbers meant. And they say these were other law enforcement agencies' booking numbers, like they had already been arrested and booked by these agencies. So that's my fourth ID. So I have lots of ID numbers, CIA, FBI, booking numbers, and that's my fourth ID right there. But I talked to the woman to set up my parole. She asked me about my family, my history, and stuff like that. And when I talked to her, she said she was going to set me up something. So she gave me this paper. I didn't look over it until I was walking back to my unit. And I looked at it, and it says, case plan goals, tasks, and activities. And I told them I didn't have housing, I would need housing if I'm going to have to do parole here. And it says to go find and maintain stable housing. But they have no housing here. So they tell me this is what an agency says. I got to go here for homeless services. And you give them an address, and it says it gives you Medicare food stamps, cash aid, but nothing about housing. Nothing about housing. So they don't give you anywhere to go. So when you get out, they already got a lot of drug programs. They don't give you nothing about housing. And the second thing was, makes excuses for criminal behavior observed. You understand that? Making excuses for criminal behavior observed. Now, this came about because she asked me. She said, do you think you got a fair trial? I said, no. And that's all I said. She said, do you think you had fair trial? And I said, no, a lot of people don't get fair trials. And this is what she signed me up for. Make excuses for criminal behavior. She observed it because I said no, that I don't think I have a fair trial. So I have to report to you that learn to accept responsibility for your actions. So this is a go-to victim awareness classes, day reporting. Isn't that something? All because I said I don't think I got a fair trial. And she said, make excuses for criminal behavior observed. Learn to accept responsibility for your actions. So now, I done got upset because I'm angry. Because you haven't observed anything about making excuses for criminal behavior. Now, she asked me about my childhood. Have I ever had abuse? Have I been a battered woman? And I told her that 23 years ago, 24 now, when I left my husband Ron, there was a battered situation, and I left him. That we had a physical altercation, I left him. So, number one, listen first. Mental health needs for women. So I have to report for mental health, POC. Even though I'm not taking any medication, I'm not seeing any mental health doctors, but see, the government pays them for the programs. So they stick people in these programs to make money. And if you don't report to either one of these places, it's parole violation. So they'll lock you up. If I don't report for that victims awareness thing or they lock you up. Parole violation. So, as I said, I told them that 23, 4 years ago that I did have the abuse of my husband. And then I have to go for conflict with family, women. Find a program to help you deal with abuse. Go to a battered woman's program. Now, y'all gonna sign me up for all these classes. I told you there was one incident 23 years ago. Now you're gonna force me to go to this program to deal with abuse. Provides outpatient mental health counseling and medication serving both adults and children are welcome. We accept Medicare, all this stuff, but it's all about the money. So if they enroll you in these programs, and like I said, if you don't go, it's a parole violation. One incident made me have to go to a battered woman's program. So when I read this, immediately I got a 22 form and told them, why would I be forced to go to, I'm not down for no mental health issues. I have never did anything that shows I wasn't responsible for my actions. They tried to hook me up to register as a drug offender. When I first seen the counselor, she said, when she gave me my papers telling me what date I would get out, she says, you will have to register as a drug offender. I don't have any drug history. So I would have to report to a drug program. I told her I don't have any. I said, look at it. So she looked through the computer, and she came back and said, yeah, well, I see you don't have a drug history, so I'll take that off. But they were going to make me report to a drug program. So, 6 months later, when it gets time for me to come out, so I'm waiting. I had talked to a counselor 5/29/19. Another parole person that says when you get close to the door, they make arrangements. So I talked to him. I told him again that the paperwork I got did not have anything about housing. And I told him I don't have any identification because my IDs had expired while I was locked up. My driver's license and everything else. And he told me that go to my counselor when I left his office, tell him I need a voucher for a motel room. They're supposed to give you a voucher for a motel room for 2 weeks and give you a voucher to go to DMV to get ID. So I went to the parole officer, Mr. Rodriguez, and he told me that in order to get the voucher for the ID and the voucher for a motel room, that I had to be 120 days to the gate. But by that time, I was like 90, 80, almost 90 days to the gate. So he said that it lapsed, so I no longer qualified for the voucher and ID. So I wrote some hot 2 forms all over. So y'all gonna release me here, from here, with no place to stay, and no form of identification. So I never heard back. So I had been putting in a lot of grievances form, appeal forms. So I'm at the appeal office one day, and Miss Griffith, she said, well, I know you get out soon. What are you going to do? Where are you going to parole to? I say, I have no idea, because no one has talked to me about my parole plans. She goes and they print me. One of the other ladies goes and she prints me this. Release study program. Now this is in July, when I'm talking to Miss Griffith at the grievance room. They go and print me this and said this had been printed up, I don't know what the date is on this one, June 5th. And it should have been given to me and signed. Now the problem with this is, she told me, well, I got to report to, that's the Lujan, that counselor who lied about everything she told me. They told me I had to report to Miss Meadows. And they gave me the address, right here. Now, it's almost time to go. And I tell her, I say, well, I still don't have any ID or any place to stay. Well, I said, money to get back for parole. She said, we're going to give you $200 gate money. That's nothing. Because when I went to Greyhound, they wanted $81 for a ticket to get from the prison to here, to San Bernardino. So, how you gonna live off probably a little over $100? So, they still hadn't got back to me about them programs that they forced me to take. So, she tells me that I have to report to that address. I'll go over some of this other stuff later on. And that I have to be paroled. I have to be there, report, since I'm homeless, be there every Tuesday and Thursday. I think it says on here. I have to report every Tuesday and Thursday. Now, as a homeless person, want to report, ain't got no money, be there twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday, out of a week. And since I am a level 1, which means I'm a low-risk inmate or low-risk person, why do I have to report so often? I got to report twice a week to the parole office. I got to make sure I go to the mental health hospital. I got to report to this women thing, battered thing, and I got to report to this victims that don't take responsibility, people that don't take responsibility for their crimes. How is a homeless person supposed to do all that in a week? They have no income. But they said, well, we'll find a way to have you ID before you get out of here. Maybe the prison can release you some ID. I think I have our paperwork. Maybe the prison can release you some ID before you leave. Can release you some kind of ID. And of course they did not. But the thing is not just me. They tell you all the time that everybody, when you're released, they will give you a voucher for a room and give you ID. Now they told me finally that since I wasn't a resident of California that I could not get an ID. But these women that are residents that were getting out here in California was signing the paperwork way ahead of time for the vouchers. And the day I got released, they did not give those women ID. Did not give them vouchers for a place to stay. You're telling people And you're writing off on the budget that you're providing these vouchers. But none of the inmates are getting them. I talked to an inmate right before I left, and she said, yeah, they tell us that. She said, but no one gets an ID or voucher for a room. You understand me? So they're claiming they're providing services, and they don't. So, as I told you, that Rodriguez told me that that I had a limit of 120 days, had to be done 120 days. My thing is, you're supposed to, this is your job. Y'all supposed to know your job. The inmates don't know what the rules and regulations are. So, at 120 days, y'all supposed to at least come to us and tell us we have to sign the paperwork to get the vouchers. Why would you tell us, well, your time has elapsed? We would not know that. It's your responsibility to let us know that. But people were signing for the ID and vouchers even after the 120 days. But again, like I said, nobody was getting IDs or the vouchers. And let me see what else I want to talk about on this paper. Now, I have to report twice a week. And, hold on, let me be patient 1 minute, people. They gave me this on the day I left, right before I left. So, I was trying to find out, my condition, my parole condition. That I cannot carry anything that looked like a weapon. And when she read me this, now number one, this paper was wrote up, the original paper was wrote up June 5th. And by God's luck, I'm talking to Miss Griffith, and they showed me a copy of it. And the thing is, if you have to sign this paperwork. If you haven't signed it before you release, they won't release you. They can hold you. So I never knew this paperwork existed. That was June 5th when this, and it has on here June 6th when it was set up by Counselor Kate Shepard. I've never met Mr. Shepard. They said he set it up, and I was supposed to have signed it. I've never met Mr. Shepard. So, if God hadn't, on July 2nd, if God hadn't let these things show me this paperwork, they'd have held me because the paperwork wasn't signed. But a very interesting thing here is that weapons. I can't own a weapon. I have access to a knife, any instrument, or anything. But the interesting part is this right here. What I got here. I was talking to myself that if you're a felon, you can't carry a gun. But crossbows are illegal. They won't let it focus in. There you go. Crossbows are legal. That you can use a crossbow like your archery or something like that. It's not illegal. And I was telling the ladies in my cell how in Illinois I bought crossbows. And when the lady read it to me, she said, "Oh, this is unusual. It has down here, you can't have a crossbow of any kind." So they were listening to my conversation because he even admitted this is not usual on your paperwork. It says no knives. And if I have a knife in my apartment, it shouldn't be no longer, the blade can't be any longer than 2 inches, except knives which kept only in the kitchen of your residence, and knives related to your work. Now the thing is, if I wanted to sit in my living room and peel some potatoes and watch TV, I could go to jail for doing that. You understand what I'm saying? So I think I told you guys about the incident at my door while I was here. That some guy came to my door and asked me for some drugs. I told him I didn't have any drugs. I'm going to have to make this 2-part because I don't want to make it too long because I have a hard time loading it when it's long. And I told them I don't know anybody who do drugs, but they hung out outside. And Mama gonna do the whole thing on the parole. I just deal with the load up. And I told him I didn't know. But him, they kept hanging around my door, tapping on my door softly. And then they slipped the white piece of paper on the door. He kept trying to get me to open the door. But you know, I dealt with that in Chicago where the police tried to get me to open or come in my house. And I wouldn't open the door. So when he slipped the paper on the door, I hollered, I said, go away from my door. I told you I don't know anybody to do drugs. You guys don't do no drugs. I've seen my troubles and everything about me since 2015. You know I don't do drugs. But the manager at the office here told me it was the police. That they told him they were looking for a missing child. But that's not what they asked me when they knocked on the door. So they tried to set me up to violate my parole. Now, Tuesday, when I went to parole office, since I'm in a room and I don't have a kitchen to keep my knife in, I asked Miss, after the incident about the door, I asked Miss Meadows that can I get some mace to protect myself here. She said, no, that's a parole violation too. I said, so you mean I can't protect myself? No kind of way. I can't have a small knife. I can't have mace or anything. She told me no. So when I talked to her Tuesday, I said that I live in a room. I don't have a kitchen where I can keep the knife in. So how am I supposed to prepare my food? And she told me I could have a small knife, but I have to keep it with my cooking things. That's no problem. But I think that was a setup too. So I keep recording and documentation on everything they say. So when I go into Tuesday, they was finna violate me. Miss Jones, you missed your orientation program. You missed the program. And as I told you, where's the paper? I told her, no I didn't. I said, my paperwork says that I have to show up. My date for orientation is August 28th. So they were going to violate me for not showing up to this orientation. It's mandatory. This means you must attend. Failure to attend may result in a parole violation. Now, I'm sitting outside the parole office at the bus stop, and this guy just happens, isn't it some coincidence? Just happened to drive up in his little regular car and say, hey, miss, I'm passing out weed today. Can I give you some weed? Who rides around passing out weed? So again, trying to help, even though marijuana is legal in California, but I bet they'd have made an excuse. Like it's not the legal, he had no right to give the drug away. Well, they came up with some reason. Who goes around to stand up? Oh, I'm just driving around giving out weed. So, that same day, they tried to violate me, saying that I missed my orientation when my paperwork clearly said the 28th. Because on the paperwork they gave me, it really said July. So if it was in July, that one already was gone because I didn't get out to August. This is the date they gave me, but they were going to violate me. So they're doing everything I can. They're going to try to get some trumped up charges for me to be violated for that parole. One more thing I'm going to add. Usually, most of the inmates told me that if you're good, they hold you stay on parole for about a year. They gave me my paperwork saying that I have to be on parole for 18 months. 18 or discharge criteria. I had to be on parole for what is that? For 18 months or something, 18 months, which is past the year that other inmates told me that they usually do if they're good on their parole. So I had to be in California for 16, 18 months. I had to make sure I paid all my restitution, because everybody who goes to jail, it's all about the money, pays restitution. My restitution is almost $670. $600 for the court costs, everybody get that cost, and $70 for the PD. Now that's amazing to me, that a PD is supposed to be a state-provided lawyer, public defender, that's free, but they still charge you for them. You had to pay for them PDs here in California, a public defender. And when I get ready to leave August 3rd, this bothers me too. Some of the inhumane things they do. I've heard, since I've been out here, I've heard of people that they give the ankle monitors to, but you have to charge them ankle monitors. And for the homeless, they got no way you can charge a phone, no less ankle monitor. They cut the water off of the homeless here in the water fountains. So people have been violated for their parole because they couldn't get their monitor ankles charged. They couldn't keep them charged. But the most humane thing is how they violate the body. I don't know, I made a video about this, but I don't want to run over again. That certain inmates, they drill a hole in their leg, cut a hole in their leg, and they put an implant in there. And they know you had 24 hours. I didn't think it was their right. I think it's a human rights violation, for you to put something intrusive into a person's body. At first I thought they were just major sex offenders or something they had to know with at all times, but that's not the case. They can just pick certain people to put these things in their bodies. I don't understand why no inmate support groups have not jumped all over this. You know, that they can put stuff in people's body. The horrors that these things do to these people on parole. I hear so many different horror stories. They violate them for nothing. But God will end this. But He wants people to see the evilness. I don't think the general public, they think people in these prisons are well taken care of. No, they're not. Alright guys, I love you all. I love you all. Take care, do your research, be aware, be prepared, be informed. Bye-bye.